Back at it again with another remix mod ranking. I can promise you this isn't going to be the last one, but I think alongside D-Side and Neo, this one is unique and super vibrant. Friday Night Funkin' Aero Funk. Similar to other remix mods, this one takes on a different art style, set in new locations, new character designs, and music. Basically the normal stuff for your average remix mod. Our main location is based on the beautiful country of Brazil, and is basically the same with our characters with new names as well. But for the sake of my own sanity, I'm going to stick with their original names mainly because they stick to their normal roles, as if this was another remix mod or the original game. This is a very bouncy mod with some great music, so let's see how it separates itself from the others.
3, 2, 1, go!
Generally, I really love week 3 in most remix mods, but this time around, I'm not the biggest fan of the majority, aka 2 out of 3 songs in this week, and I think it's the weakest song in the entire mod. The first 13 seconds of the song is very good and sets up the base for what the rest of the song should be. It reminds me of D-Side Pico a bit, as they both sound pretty familiar. So after those first 13 seconds are set in stone, I believe the rest of the song goes pretty downhill, unfortunately. Whenever Pico sings the way he does in this mod, it doesn't sound right, but I will give it this. It does remind me of Chemical Plant from Sonic, so that's a plus, but that'll never be enough to warrant me putting this higher on the list. I feel like Pico shouldn't hit these high notes as it sounds really off. He sounds like he was born with the auto-tune chip in his throat. I do think they should have stuck with Pico's voice that we heard first for a bit longer and then start singing when we get to the beat drop. It felt way too fast for me. Now going back to the beginning of the song, the first 13 seconds and the final 14 seconds in my opinion are the best part of the song because of the change of Pico going back to his original voice. About 98% of the song feels very unorganized, and it's mainly on Pico because Boyfriend does his usual thing and sounds fine. It'll never be my first choice, but it's not terrible.
Go!
This was originally my last place spot, but there is a certain part of the song that I actually enjoy, but it's not in the song as much as it should for me. It's what's shown in the first few seconds, as it's my favorite lyrical part of the song whenever it's shown off, but everything else is just okay. We got the gun mechanic making a nice comeback, and similar to D-Side, the gunshots act as an extra instrumental to the music. It's not used all that much here compared to the next week 3 song, but it does the job pretty well. Overall, this is an interesting one, as certain elements stand out, but it's not enough for me to rank the song any higher. We see some extra characters make their way into the action and they become a solid visual aspect to the environment. We also hear Pico's auto-tune in this song, but I think it works a lot better here than Shackles, as it sounds more put together and more clean. Week 3 is not off to the best start unfortunately, but hopefully it'll be able to redeem itself. Very similar to D-Side's week 2, as this is not the best start for this week. The song feels way too repetitive for my liking and everything almost sounds the same. I feel like the instrumental is very good, but I can barely hear it because our characters are screaming into the mics as if their soul is leaving their bodies. There is some charm to this song, but those parts only last a second. I can only see myself coming back to those extremely small moments, but that'll have me playing this song and soon forgetting why I was playing it in the first place, and I could have been playing something better. I guess the name is relatively fitting for this list because it's low, but is also not dead last. Yeah, honestly, I can't really build a case for this.
Three, two, one, go.
Let's be real, this is the most random song in this entire mod, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Similar to Blam and Bittersweet, there are parts of the song I really like and there's some charm here. I believe the final third of the song makes for a powerful finale, but for me that's when things start getting really good. The song does feel like it's evolving alongside Buff Shaggy, but I think that's the main problem. It starts getting good at the end. I believe Earthquake is way too inconsistent with parts I like and parts I don't like, and then the finale is the best part overall. The transformation is epic, but it makes me wonder what would happen if he drank the entire bottle instead of just a small drop. I think we should prepare for war just in case.
Three, two, one, go.
There's a lot to unpack here, and that starts with the question: what the hell is going on with Sprite Boyfriend? Why is he floating up there and acting all goofy? The only thing I can think of is that this is an obvious test for a future update and they just decided to keep it in the mod for the funnies. The song, on the other hand, is very smooth and clean on its own, but when you add the gameplay, time to question my life choices. Everything is everywhere and all over the place. It's kinda repetitive, but it keeps up the creativity as the song progresses, and this is very unique as well because of how different it is compared to everything else. This is probably the hardest song in the game because of the speed and the quantity of notes every second of the way. I believe it competes against Earthquake, Rap King, and Loaded for being the most difficult song, but that debate sounds like a waste of time and a really dumb Twitter debate.
Three, two, one, go.
This is where things start to pick up in quality, even though we need to work our way up to the top. The first 58 seconds just hit different for me, and it's my favorite part of the song. I like how the slower pace sets the tone as it's catchy and also somehow feels fluffy and soft with the rough and tough vocals from our characters. Luckily we get to hear it again, and I love how it feels less stressful the second time as we hear a similar but different sound from the first time. After that clean intro we get a beat drop and it's okay. I like how the vocals sound and they're consistent between going fast and slow as we get this new and busy sounding instrumental. It's like hearing two songs go back and forth as we start with the slower pace and then move on to the faster side of things. It gives me the idea of a roller coaster, starting slow and then falling to your death at fast speeds, but it's a fun ride either way.
Three, two, one, go.
I love the setup at the beginning as we're clearly in for something super intense, although I do wish we could have worked a bit more for the drop as it feels very blunt at first. Similar to Nightfall, I think that the intro is the best part of the entire song as we also get to hear it at the end because it makes for a better fitting conclusion to week 1. As we get the beat drop, we get a major difficulty spike, and in my opinion it feels kind of unnecessary for week 1. It can still be challenging but not like this. I do believe the song does fall off a little bit after we get the beat drop, mainly because of the vocals sounding all over the place with blazing speed. Although the song does pick itself back up with the solos, they are fire as we get a different dynamic with Boyfriend starting it off instead of Daddy Dearest, and once it's his turn, Boyfriend acts as a backup singer. It's super impactful as it brings this whole song back as well as the environment going dark for these solos. While going after some smaller details while playing, I don't believe Daddy Dearest should ever hit high notes as he sounds like a squealing rat near the end. When the song does decide to organize the vocals, it sounds really good, and I wish it stayed like that throughout the entire song, but what can you do? I also believe that this song goes on for about 26 seconds too long. If those last 25 to 26 seconds were cut out, I believe it would have been a much cleaner conclusion to week 1, but it feels kind of forced, but luckily it doesn't ruin the song. Week 1s are generally big personal favorites for me, and I think this was a fine conclusion.
Three, two, one, go. Left, right, left, right, up, right. Down, up, down, down. Right, left, right, right.
This tutorial is a very fun one out of the good number of original tutorial songs from other mods. First things first, Kevin is a gem and must be protected at all costs. He teaches us the ways of rap in our 4 basic directions. We get the basic tutorial aspect in the beginning, but then it turns into its own song, which is really cool. The instrumental is basic but very catchy and chill as it gets us ready for the intense Brazil environment. I hear it's very hot over there. And to end it off, we get the usual Boyfriend solo, and it's up there with D-side as a favorite. Tutorials have come a long way, and I'm glad they're getting more and more innovative and creative the more mods we get. I consider this an underdog placing, mainly because I don't really remember this song when I first played this mod. It just flew over my head as I moved on, or maybe it's because I really liked Reboot and I was going on about how good it was. I don't know, but I definitely overshadowed and underestimated this song for the longest time. The faster pacing fits the overall concept of the Fetch song going back to the original. I love how both characters have unique animations when they're beatboxing. It's such a cool detail. This feels like the original Fresh evolved into something better and more fun than it already is. The gameplay may be easy, but it's a lot of fun to hear every element come together. Our two characters bounce off each other perfectly throughout the entire song, and their lyrics make it as catchy and fun to listen to. The instrumental is also a great addition as well, but honestly the vocal performances carry this entire song from beginning to end.
Three, two, one, go!
This is probably my favorite Bopibo remix, and it has some competition with D-side Bopibo. The gameplay evolves with the instrumental and the vocals as there's a satisfying build-up, and once the drop hits, it's at the end of the song, and it's a great ending as we worked our way from the start and it kept the song progressing, going into a clean conclusion. Our characters take control of the tone very well, and it never goes off the rails in an unnecessary fashion. I think this is the most smooth song in the game, and I'm constantly coming back to this classic.
Three, two, one, go!
This is right behind Reboot as the second smoothest song, but I think the overall quality is higher. I've never been a fan of the notes that hurt you while you're playing other than the gun mechanics, but I'm not totally against the slime notes here. They're relatively easy to avoid because of the other colored notes, just avoid the green. If only I told myself that when I first played this mod. I love how the monster is represented as a massive vibe instead of a huge threat, even though he possibly still could be. The different archetype he's given in this mod is very refreshing because he's not trying to psychologically kill us, and we can tell that the other two are just here for a good time. When this trio sings together, it feels the most natural and adds an extra layer to the song, especially at the end. I do believe them taking turns and working around the slower pace instrumental works very well. Although I do want to go deeper into these slime notes because there's lots of good to them, but I believe there's one big negative. The slime notes really show off some sort of potential here, as whenever they're shown off, they fit with the music, but we don't hear anything regarding it. If they acted as normal notes, then this song would be easy number one, and I believe it to be a missed opportunity, although I completely understand why they didn't go with that. But just imagine the lyrics from Boyfriend that we could have gotten from this. Luckily the song we have now is amazing, but I believe it would have been an easy number one if they added the slime notes as normal notes. Similar to Reboot and Fresher, you can hear everything about this song as it continues to evolve into something amazing as the layers start showing themselves, and they're welcome additions. The extra lyrics, the soft tone instruments, and the final 20 seconds really makes me me wish it was brought in earlier, as it's the head of the whole instrumental in my opinion. There's so much to this song that I love, and it was originally my number 1, but I had a vision and it was pretty unfortunate because it's number 3. I believe this to be the greatest game over song out of every other. Not only is it one of the very few that we can actually play, but something about this song really hits me in the best possible ways. There's a lot going on, but it's all organized and it sounds amazing from beginning to end. There are 2 boyfriends, as one of them is the main vocalist while the other gives us a very faint background sound. It's a very cool song with some amazing progression and evolution throughout. Layers upon layers of instruments and lyrics. It's catchy, it's fun, and somehow not really depressing considering the current environment, which fits the entire theme of Game Over. It's so creative and I'm so happy it exists. Luckily there's an extra mod that allows you to play this song, and my god, it is so much fun. The charting is complex, but it also allows you to learn for future attempts. It's amazing and I want more Game Over songs to be similar to this one.
Three, two, one, go!
This is week 3 at its best and the most raw Pico performance I've heard in a very long time. I always believe that Pico's original voice is his best element and makes week 3 so memorable in most remix mods, and even the original game. As soon as I heard this voice make its return throughout the entire song, I had a feeling it was going to be top tier. Although I was originally never impressed with this song when I first heard it, and I honestly never believed it to be as good as I remember, but while playing this song and giving it a good number of listens, I believe it's the best song in this entire mod. Layers and layers with the instrumental keep stacking on each other and showing every positive element, which is basically the entire song. Also, both vocal performances are top tier as they show off those layers to the instrumental, and speaking of which, guns! This mod is based in Brazil. I'm not so sure how they handle that stuff over there. The gun mechanic is at its best in this song as it's all over the place, but in a fun and difficult way. The fast pace and hardcore consistency is amazing. There isn't a single part of this song that makes it fall as the line just keeps going up. Boyfriend and Pico are the stars of the show, but I will say that the beat is clean and very fresh. Up for debate as one of the best week 3 songs in any remix mod, but there's some stiff competition in my opinion, but that's a story for another time that'll probably never be told. Aerofunk is creative, unique, charming, and so much fun. The top tier songs, in my opinion, carry this entire mod on its shoulders, so basically everything in my top 6. Apparently there's more in the works, and I'm pretty excited for it, but unfortunately the waiting game comes first, so while I'm waiting, I'll try to find a way to summon the virus monster and just vibe out with it.